My name is Katherine Standefer, and I'm the author of Lightning Flowers, My Journey to Uncover the Cost of Saving a Life. When I was 24 years old, I was working as a ski instructor and a climbing guide in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And one day I randomly went into cardiac arrest. And when I woke up, I knew immediately that my whole life had changed. My younger sister had recently been diagnosed with a genetic heart issue called long QT syndrome. She had had to have a cardiac defibrillator implanted in her body against the threat of sudden death. And I immediately knew that something like this was happening to me. The problem in my case was that the year was 2009 and I was uninsured in a time before the Affordable Care Act had passed. And so I had to figure out how to get heart surgery while uninsured in a state with not a lot of resources for that kind of medical work. Over the years, the story of living with this heart condition remained very complex. I ended up going septic at one point and almost dying. Later on in my experiences with cardiac defibrillators, I had a breakage in my device that it was very hard to get the right care for. And I actually ended up with a snapped off, stripped nest of wire stuck in my right ventricle. And so this story is one that has gone through many phases, but that is also ongoing in some way. Initially, you don't have a choice but to surrender to it, to understand that your life is pivoting some direction that you didn't expect. I've had to place a lot of weight on certain relationships because I truly couldn't take care of myself. Having to move 500 miles away from the place that I lived, become a resident of another city in order to get heart surgery required me to really trust medical professionals who said that they were going to donate their fees. It required me to lean heavily upon my parents, who paid for a lot of the unexpected costs with having to do something like that. It required trusting both family members and friends who really stepped in to show up for me in the hospital and in the days after the hospital. The idea that my life has been so shaped by policy, by the lack of healthcare access in the United States, and then by healthcare access that is unfortunately deeply flawed because the value that sits at the center of our healthcare system is profit. I also learned a lot about the fact that death is not something that any of us can fix, that to be human is to live despite the fact of death. And at the beginning of my journey, I think I just wanted to make the threat of it go away. I didn't know how to live when death was nearby, when I could feel it kind of breathing on me. Death became a part of my everyday because I feared that I would go into cardiac arrest. And once I had the defibrillator implanted, I had to, through the course of my experiences, really see that a defibrillator can solve one way that it's possible to die, but a defibrillator and other medical technologies can also introduce other things that can go wrong. And a defibrillator cannot prevent a lot of other ways of passing away that are possible. It's actually really important to give yourself the room to ask a lot of questions of your medical practitioners and to do your own research. All of the studies show practitioners are likely to be biased toward the procedures they perform, especially if they are paid on a per procedure basis. And so I want people to be safe, but to whatever extent they can slow down major medical decisions, I really encourage that, to seek multiple opinions, to take the time to hear where your body is hesitant about someone, something, someplace. I will not have procedures at minor hospitals anymore. And I don't think other people with rare conditions should either, because we deserve the practitioners who best understand what we're facing. I recommend getting to whoever the expert is on a rare condition.